Have you ever stood in the produce aisle, looking at those bland, pale tomatoes, and thought, I wish I could just grow my own? You can, and you don't need a sprawling backyard to do it. The secret to the sweetest, sun-warmed tomatoes you've ever tasted is probably sitting on your patio, balcony, or even a sunny windowsill right now. The truth is, most people think growing tomatoes is complicated. They picture massive gardens, endless weeding, and a constant battle with pests. But what if you could skip all that? What if the simplest, most productive way to grow tomatoes was also the most space efficient? The problem isn't a lack of land, it's a lack of the right system. Container gardening is that system. But just throwing a plant in a pot and hoping for the best leads to disappointment. Stunted plants, few fruits, and a whole season wasted. The difference between a single sad tomato and an overwhelming harvest comes down to one thing: your initial setup. Get that right, and the plants almost grow themselves. Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly how to set up your containers and grow bags for a tomato harvest so abundant you'll be giving them away to neighbors by the bucketful. Let's get started. So, we've established that the right setup is everything. It's the foundation. Get this part wrong, and you're fighting an uphill battle all season. Get it right, and you've built a self-sufficient little ecosystem that just needs some water and sunshine to explode with fruit. Let's build that system step by step. First, the container itself. This is non-negotiable. Think big. A tomato plant is a massive, thirsty, hungry beast. That tiny 5-gallon bucket from the hardware store? It's a trap. You'll be watering twice a day in July. For a single determinate or patio variety, aim for a minimum of 10 gallons. For a big, sprawling, indeterminate tomato, the kind that keeps growing and producing until frost, you want 15 to 20 gallons. A grow bag of that size is perfect. The fabric sides allow for something called air pruning. When the roots hit the edge, they sense the air, stop growing, and branch out instead of circling. This creates a denser, healthier root system that can access more water and nutrients. It's a game changer. Now, we don't just fill that giant container with dirt from your yard. We're creating a custom living soil. You'll want a high-quality, lightweight potting mix as your base. Garden soil is too dense. To that, we're going to mix in 2 key amendments. First, compost. About 20 to 30% of your total volume. This is the slow-release nutrient bank and the home for beneficial microbes. Second, a balanced, slow-release organic fertilizer. Look for one with a ratio like 5-5-5. Follow the label for container application, but typically, you'll mix a good cup or so into that 15-gallon bag. This is your plant's pantry, stocked for the entire season. Here's the pro move that solves 90% of watering problems before they start. Install a simple irrigation stake. Before you add any soil, take a 1-inch diameter PVC pipe, about 18 inches long. Drill holes along the bottom half. Stand it upright in the center of your empty container, with the top a few inches above the rim. Now, fill your container with your soil mix, packing it around the pipe. What you've just built is a direct conduit to the root zone. When you water, you pour it right down this tube. The water is delivered deep, encouraging those roots to grow down, not just sit at the surface. It prevents soil compaction on top and ensures every drop goes exactly where it's needed. You'll water less often, but far more effectively. Finally, the support. Put it in. Now, don't wait until the plant is flopping over. For a grow bag, the most stable option is a heavy-duty tomato cage, the biggest you can find. Push it deep into the soil so it's anchored. Or, if you're on a balcony, set up a vertical string or trellis above the bag for the vine to climb. This isn't an afterthought, it's part of the structure. At this point, you have a 15-gallon grow bag filled with a rich, living soil mix with a watering stake in the center and a sturdy support system already in place. You have built a fortress for your tomato plant, a self-contained world where it can focus all its energy on one thing, producing an absurd amount of fruit for you. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the one single plant you should choose to put in this perfect system, and the simple, seasonal care that takes you from planting to harvest. So you've built the perfect container. You've created this self-contained world of soil and structure. But this isn't really about a tomato. It's about a shift. For a moment, look past the harvest, past the salsa and the salads. See what you've actually built on your patio or balcony. You've built a declaration, a small green declaration of independence. You've just created a point of production where there was only consumption. You've taken a square foot of space and turned it into a source of genuine nourishment, of flavor and nutrition that you control. That's the real yield here. It's not just fruit, it's agency. This single container is the gateway. It proves the concept to yourself, that you can do this, that you don't need permission, or acres, or expert knowledge to start. You just need a container, some soil, and a seed. This tomato plant becomes your teacher. It shows you the rhythms of care, the reward of patience, the quiet confidence that comes from partnering with nature on a small, manageable scale. Once you taste that first sunworm tomato from a system you built with your own hands, something changes. You'll look at every sunny corner differently. You'll see potential, not limitation. So let this be your start. Not with a whole garden, but with this one well-built container. Let it be your proof of concept. Because self-sufficiency isn't an all-or-nothing destination, it's a direction. And you start by planting one thing, perfectly. So go do that today. Get that bag, that soil, that support. Build your fortress, and plant your flag in it. Your future, more self-sufficient self is waiting. And they're holding a basket of the most incredible tomatoes you've ever tasted. They're wondering what took you so long.